Hey folks, it's time for another edition of Which One Works. This is my interactive series where I self-critique some of my images and walk you through my process of deciding which ones I choose to take further into my editing process. You know, deciding which one works versus one that doesn't work sometimes comes down to just small little details. Sometimes it comes down to a feeling, and so it's just as much of an art as it is a science to figure out which one works. I just got back from leading a workshop down in Monument Valley in Canyon de Chelly in Arizona. It was a beautiful trip. I love the desert. There's so much to do with patterns, shapes, textures, and colors, as well as icons and other just beautiful grand landscape kinds of shots. So I came home, even though I was working, I came home with a few shots, and I wanted to walk you through a little bit of my critique of a few of my images. So let's go ahead and jump into the system and I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, let's start off with a nice color image. This was shot deep in Monument Valley. We were with our guides out. We went out and shot sunrise at Totem Pole, and then went and visited a Navajo woman in her hogan, and then we went over to the Sun's Eye Arch. And the base of this wall is absolutely spectacular. There's so much detail work to do that I never ever want to leave. And as I was walking along the base of the wall, I saw this fence post up against the sandstone rock. And the contrast between the wood and the rock really piqued my interest. So it was something that I wanted to shoot. So this is the first shot that I took of it, which is a nice documentary shot. It just kind of shows the whole fence post and the rock and the two strands of barbed wire around it. And, you know, it's an okay shot. But it doesn't really evoke any kind of emotion or passion or anything. It's really just a documentary shot. It's nicely done, but it doesn't do much for me. So as I was standing there after I shot this shot, I really challenged myself to find a more unique way to photograph this fence post against the rock, and this is what I came up with. I don't need to see the entire post. I see one strand of barbed wire. I really accentuate the wood against the rock by getting in closer to it. Again, I don't need to tell the whole scene to get across the emotion that I'm trying to get or feel or capture in an image. So this is one of those that which one works. And I made the decision out in the field, not at home in front of the computer. So the lesson here is that it really benefits you to shoot a subject in many, many different ways. And then you can decide when you get home which one you like. But this is the one that I like the best because it really captures the essence of why I stopped at this particular spot. All right, the next day we headed out into Mystery Valley and we went to this area that we call the Cow Patties, and has these really amazing, wonderful rocks that it's just this layered sandstone. So I walked out onto a peninsula and I shot this sort of repetitive pattern of rocks. I like it. I think it was great. The wind was blowing though, about 20 miles an hour, maybe a little bit more, and so it was kind of hard to concentrate. So this was the first shot I took, and I shot 3 or 4 frames here, and when I got home, I looked at this shot. I love the rocks. I like the tree. We got some really nice space around the tree here and the bluffs in the back. All that stuff looks good. And then I get to the upper right, and I see that I cut off part of this butte. And I'm a big proponent of something really needs to be in or out, or it needs to be really consciously cut off so it's clear to the viewer that you were very intentional about it. The amount of butte that I cut off up here does not look intentional. It looks accidental. So I saw this and thought, I'm not really liking it. And then I saw this bush down here in the middle side of the frame. Did not like that one bit. So the whole right side of my image, I did not do a good enough job in the field to scan my edges and adjust for them for this particular shot. I look at my next frame and I tightened it up. So I did see those things on the right hand side of the frame. So I tightened it up, really got rid of all the distractions on the right, and your attention is now drawn to these cow patties right in the middle. Then here's sort of the finished view. I really just sort of upped the contrast, upped a little bit of the texture and the detail, and then added a vignette, and it's a real wonderful monochrome shot of Mystery Valley. We did go up on top of Hunts Mesa and shot a sunset and a sunrise, and the journey up there is amazing. The view over Monument Valley is amazing. But then coming down, we took a slight detour and went over to Spiderweb Arch. This is Spiderweb Arch. It's a wonderful little, actually massive arch, kind of on the backside, the south side of Hunts Mesa. And so we roll into this and have about an hour to work. And so we all walked up close to the arch and were shooting it in various ways. And so I shot this, which is nice. It sort of depicts the entire arch. And then I shot this. Can you see the difference? Let me go back and forth. There's the first one. There's the second one. So besides being closer, there's one key element that makes this shot work over the previous one. And if you look through this other arch right here, you see this tuft of rock sticking up, and you see the little bit of space of blue sky between the rock and the arch. I've got that in this shot. I do not have it in this shot. And the way I got that was I really just moved my feet to the left in order to get a better angle and get that little bit of space. So this is the one that works over the previous one. Let me just show you one more shot from that, and I'll show you one that works even better. So here we are in landscape orientation, but look at this in portrait orientation. First thing I saw is I still have that little bit of space right there, which is awesome. But look at these cool shadows from the tree leading up to the arch. This is the shot that actually works the best for me. Love this shot. All right, after 3 or 4 days in Monument Valley, we headed down to Canyon de Chelly and went up both arms of the canyon. And the first day we took off into the canyon with our Navajo guides, and we made it up to Window Arch in time for a sunstar. So here's what Window Arch looks like. This is raw and unedited. And I've got two shots to look at here. I've got this shot and I've got this shot. Just slight differences between the two. In this shot here, what I feel is that I have a really nice area around the arch. I get a lot of context of the arch in its setting and its place. Versus this is really, so being a tighter shot, it's more about the arch and there's less context of the canyon around it. Now, if I come back to this first shot, this is not bad. There's something to work with, but I don't like the sky, obviously, number one. But number two, down here at the bottom, these two big dark areas on the left and the right. I like the swooping part of the rock, but these real dark areas could be a visual impediment. So big dark objects sometimes prevent us from going further into the photograph. So these are a concern of mine. When I come to this one, I changed my composition to minimize as much as I could those big dark objects. And here we have just a little bit left in the lower left corner. And So both of these have challenges. I mean, I like this. I don't really care for the sky, but I like the context. This one, I lose some of the context. I lose the dark objects. The sky's a little bit better, and there's something that I can work with. A little bit further along, as we were shooting the sun star, I came to shoot this. So it's kind of the best of both worlds in a way. I had a great sky. I did not replace the sky. This is all in one frame only. I've got great context around the arch. I did a lot of work to minimize the weight, the visual weight of these objects here. And this is the finished shot that I came up with that I like the best. So Window Arch in Canyon de Chelly. One of the highlights of Canyon de Chelly, of course, is going to White House Ruins, which is where Ansel made the very famous photograph of these ruins. Nowadays, there's a fence that keeps us back a little bit, so we have to compose a little bit differently than Ansel did. One of the first shots that I tend to do there is a shot like this. It's in vertical orientation, portrait orientation, and we can include the lower ruins and the upper ruins. The thing that makes this location, besides the ruins are just amazing, the thing that makes this really extra special is these lines of creosote coming down the wall. And if you can incorporate those in your photograph, it adds a great visual element into this scene. So I have this shot here and I have this shot here. This shot, I like the angle on it. It's nice, but the thing that kills it for me is the lower right corner. I have this bush. So in the field, I saw that after I took this shot. I saw it and I moved my feet just a little bit and came up with this. Notice that the bottom of the frame, it's a little bit tighter on those lower ruins, but I don't have that bush on the right, and I really accentuate the creosote lines coming down from the top. So this is the one that I choose over this one. This is a little bit more documentary, contextual. This is slightly more artistic, so I kind of like this one better. This is a place where I can shoot both horizontal and vertical, different, same subject, but different ways to portray it. And in a horizontal mode, here I am just shooting the upper ruins. I got a little bit of the creosote here. I like the really dark cave behind this to add a sense of mystery and depth to it. So here's the first shot. Here's the second shot. Going back to the first shot, notice the ruins are larger. I'm zoomed in a little bit more. This shot, I'm zoomed out a little bit. I have more creosote coming down the side. I have a little bit more of this rock wall on the left that doesn't add a lot to the scene. So which one did I choose? Which one works? This particular one. I wanted the creosote. The creosote was really important to me in this shot because it adds motion, it adds visual weight, it adds depth and dynamicism to it. So I wanted to include some of that in this photograph. So this is the one I picked. All right, folks, I hope you enjoyed that edition of Which One Works, straight from the desert. Of course, I got a lot more photographs to go through and figure out which one works for me. Of course, your taste and your preferences may vary from mine, but it's a little bit of the process of going through this self-critique that is one of the greatest skills that we can have as photographers to put our best foot forward and present the best images that we can. All right, thanks for watching. If you like this video and anything else on my channel, please feel free to hit the subscribe button, tickle the bell, get notified, do all that kind of good stuff. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon.